So when you think about the different people who need to be involved in the fundraising process, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to think about, oh gosh, do I have to do this all by myself? Or do I have to get other people involved? And what are they going to do? And what am I going to do? Well, we'd like to give you a little bit of structure to be able to think about the fundraising process. We're going to give you 3 roles inspired by Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point that help you structure your fundraising ask, with the understanding that if you're in a small organization, you may have to serve all 3 of these roles. But if you have the opportunity to work with other people, it sometimes can be more effective.
Well, and the first of these 3 roles is, well, all 3 roles are instrumental when it comes time to create like a social epidemic. You know, how does something become fashionable? What is a fashion trend? Or how does a technology or a social media platform take off? You know, why did the iPhone become the iPhone? You know, why did Facebook become Facebook? Well, it's because there were these 3 roles in the growth of each of these entities, these organizations, these platforms. The first of these 3 roles is the connector. You always need a connector when you're working at a nonprofit, somebody that can help connect you to a potential donor. And those connectors share a few things in common. One of the things that they share is they kind of know everybody, or at least they know the right people. They know the people that you want to connect with, or they know somebody who knows somebody who you want to connect with. So these are individuals that one of the characteristics they have is that they're trusted. You know, think about it. If there's somebody who wants advice or they want to be introduced to someone, do they call you? Are you that connector who can put them in touch with somebody who can help them learn more or accomplish the goal that they have? Or is there somebody that you always go to? Maybe it's somebody that has worked at your organization in the past, maybe it's a best friend, or maybe it's somebody who just knows everybody. But the key element about the connector is that they are trusted and they can help you get an opportunity to speak with others that you might not otherwise have a chance to.
So if the connector opens the door for you, the expert is the person who builds trust because they know everything. And they're the people who are closest to your program. So perhaps it's your executive director or your secretary general or whomever is in charge of your organization. And that's the person who knows how your organization works or your program works inside and out. And so very often they're communicating trust because they know so much. So if someone talks to them, they understand that that person is really the expert in that field and can give you more information. But the other thing is that the expert may also be someone who's providing a testimonial. It may be someone who's received your services and is so invested in your organization because they've seen the good that your services can provide. So maybe it's that. Or maybe your expert is someone who's already a supporter of your organization, who's so invested in your organization because they personally think this is a good cause. And they've made their financial contributions, so they're going to encourage other people to do it as well because they think this is important. So your expert could be your technical expert, so your programmatic expert. Your expert could be someone who has used your services, so a client testimonial or a beneficiary testimonial. Or it could be someone who already supports you, and so it's a donor testimonial. So we have the connector to start out with to open the door, and now we have the expert who continues to build trust by saying, here's how awesome this organization is.
Well, that's great. You've got an opportunity to speak to this donor. You've been able to share an excellent story, but you know what? You're never going to get the gift if you don't ask for it. You're never going to get the gift if you don't close. And that's the third role, the closer. The person who is going to remind the donor why they took this meeting in the first place, who they're connected to, how they have an association or relationship. They're going to remind the donor of what the program does and reinforce what the expert has provided in the form of information or importance or impact. And then they're going to take that next step, that leap of faith, and ask for the financial support, which can be kind of scary. Sometimes that's the thing that's hardest to find somebody on your team to do. So if you are that closer, realize that that is going to be a hugely important role. And you might have to serve in the other 2 roles. You might have to be the connector, you might have to be the expert, and you might have to ask if you're in a smaller organization. But if you have the ability to bring in other team members or volunteers or constituents to be a part of this process, you're likely to be much more effective in your efforts to generate support. So keep in mind, you may not have to do this all alone.
So again, we have the connector, the person who opens the door, the expert who gives the information and builds the trust, and the closer who asks for the gift. And we like to say that the closer with a lot of charisma is, abundantly confident?
Abundantly confident and foolishly optimistic. Well, at least that's how I approach asking.
So again, we have our connector, our expert, and our closer. And those are the three roles that you need for fundraising.